You fill their bowl twice a day. You buy the wildly expensive treats. You take them out at 6 a.m. in the freezing rain, and you even let them hog your side of the bed. But when the doorbell rings, or when they get scared, they run straight to your partner, your roommate, or even your friend, the person who barely lifts a finger for them. Why? What invisible secret metric is your dog using to pick their number one? It feels like a betrayal. But the truth is, your dog's brain is wired to prioritize something far, far deeper than who opens the food bag. In fact, if you think providing meals makes you their leader, you might actually be accidentally pushing them away. Today, we are breaking down the hidden psychology of how dogs actually choose their soulmate. And I'm going to reveal the number one ultimate factor that locks in a dog's favorite person for life. It is the absolute highest form of canine love, but I have to warn you, it is incredibly easy to get wrong. I'll share that mind-blowing secret at the very end of this video, and once you hear it, the way you look at your dog will change forever. Before we dive into the hidden rules of canine favoritism, we need to talk about why this matters so much. This isn't just about human ego. This isn't about bragging rights at the dog park. This is about your dog's psychological survival. Dogs are not just pets. They are incredibly complex, highly social emotional sponges. They have evolved over tens of thousands of years alongside humans, and their brains have developed specialized regions purely dedicated to reading human emotion and forming attachments. When a dog doesn't feel deeply, securely attached to their primary human, they don't just feel sad. They experience chronic, low-grade cortisol spikes. They develop separation anxiety, destructive chewing habits, aggressive reactivity, and deep-seated stress. On the flip side, when you actually understand the language of canine attachment, when you become their chosen person, you unlock a level of trust, obedience, and pure loyalty that most dog owners only ever dream of. You become their anchor in a chaotic world. So, let's peel back the curtain on canine psychology. Here are the 6 secret ways your dog decides who their favorite person is, ranked from the most common misconception, all the way to the ultimate canine secret. Secret number 6, the kibble myth. Let's get the most common misconception out of the way first. You've probably heard the phrase, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you." We humans naturally assume that the provider of resources is the most valued member of the pack. But dogs don't view the world through a human economic lens. To a dog, a bowl of kibble placed on the floor twice a day is not a bonding experience. It is simply a routine. Dogs are masters of environmental adaptation. If you feed them at 8 a.m. every day, your dog doesn't think, "Oh, wow, this human works so hard to buy this food for me. I love them." Oh, they think, "It is 8 a.m. The food appears from the magic metal circle." The act of feeding is passive. The dog eats the food, and the transaction is over. Instead of the provider of routine food, dogs bond with the creator of active, high-value experiences. Think of it as the Disneyland Dad effect. You might be the one doing the hard work of feeding, grooming, and giving medication, the necessary but boring stuff. But if someone else in the house is the one who initiates intense games of tug-of-war, takes them on an unpredictable adventures in the woods, or sneaks them high-value pieces of unseasoned chicken during a training session, the dog's brain floods with dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter responsible for anticipation and reward. A bowl of dry food doesn't spike dopamine. A sudden, chaotic game of fetch does. Your dog associates that massive rush of feel-good chemicals directly with the person creating the fun. They aren't choosing the person who sustains their body. They are choosing the person who stimulates their mind. If you want to shift this dynamic, stop feeding your dog out of a bowl. Make them work for it. Use their daily kibble as training treats, or put it in a puzzle toy that you interact with together. Turn the passive routine into an active bonding session. Secret number 5, energy matching. Moving deeper into the canine psyche, we hit reason number 5. Have you ever noticed that people often look like their dogs? Well, it goes much deeper than physical appearance. It's about emotional baseline. Dogs are emotional mirrors. They are highly sensitive to human pheromones, heart rates, and body language. Because they don't speak English, they navigate the world through energy. Imagine you are a naturally introverted, quiet person who loves to read and relax on the weekends. If you adopt a high-drive, neurotic, working-line Belgian Malinois, there's going to be a severe frequency mismatch. That dog is vibrating at a level 10, while you are vibrating at a level 3. If your highly active roommate moves in and starts going on 10-mile runs, that Malinois is going to immediately latch onto the roommate. Why? Because dogs seek equilibrium. They gravitate toward the person whose internal energy matches their own, or provides what they desperately need to feel balanced. A highly anxious, fearful rescue dog will rarely choose a loud, boisterous, fast-moving person as their favorite. That person's chaotic energy is terrifying to a nervous dog's nervous system. Instead, that fearful dog will latch onto the quietest, softest-spoken person in the house. That calm person becomes a grounding rod for the dog's anxiety. Conversely, a confident, goofy golden retriever wants a playmate who matches their zest for life. If you are chronically stressed, constantly radiating the scent of cortisol, the stress hormone from your sweat glands, your dog can smell it. If you are stressed, they feel stressed. They might love you, but they might seek out the calmest person in the room to actually sleep next to, because that person's slow heart rate physically helps lower the dog's heart rate. If you want to be your dog's favorite, you have to become intensely self-aware of the energy you're projecting when you enter a room. Are you a source of calm confidence or a source of chaotic stress? Okay, before we get to the top 3 reasons, and before I reveal the one most shocking secret that literally rewired how I interact with my own dog, I have a quick question for you. Dogs are incredibly weird, and we all know they do things that make absolutely no sense to us. Does your dog have a completely bizarre, unexplainable habit? Maybe they insist on bringing you a dirty sock every time you come home, or they spin exactly 3 times before lying down. Let me know what their weirdest quirk is down in the comments below. I read every single one, and it's fascinating to see what our dogs do. And hey, if you're the type of dog owner who actually cares enough to look past the surface, if you are willing to learn the deep psychology of what your dog is actually thinking, hit that subscribe button right now. It shows you're not just a dog owner, but part of the 1% of truly dedicated dog parents who want to give their best friend the best life possible. All right, let's get back to it. Look at reason number 4, secret number 4, the puppyhood imprint. Sometimes your dog's favorite person was chosen long before you even met them. In canine development, there's a magical fleeting period of time known as the critical socialization window. This occurs roughly between week 3 and week 14 of a puppy's life. During this incredibly brief window, a puppy's brain is like wet cement. Everything they experience, every sound, every texture, and every type of person leaves a permanent, lifelong imprint on their neural pathways. Furthermore, humans instinctively reach out to pat a dog right on top of the head. To a dog, a hand coming down over their head blocks their vision and feels threatening. The person a dog chooses as their favorite is often the person who touches them in a way that respects their canine instincts. They are the person who offers long, slow, deep tissue strokes along the chest, the shoulders, or the base of the tail. They are the person who doesn't force a hug, but instead allows the dog to lean their body weight against the human's leg. That lean is a dog's version of a hug. It is a profound sign of trust. The favorite person engages in this silent, respectful physical dialogue. When you pet a dog in a way that makes them feel secure rather than trapped, their brain opens the floodgates of oxytocin. You cease to be just a human. You become their biological family. Secret number 2, becoming the safe harbor. Now we are getting to the absolute core of canine survival psychology. Reason number 2 is what animal behaviorists call the safe harbor effect. To understand this, you have to look at how a wolf pack or a feral dog pack operates in the wild. When a threat appears, the pack doesn't look to the dog who found the last meal. They look to the dog who possesses the most stable, unshakable confidence. They look to the protector. In your modern household, you might be the ultimate provider. You provide the food, the toys, and the comfortable beds. But when the fireworks go off on New Year's Eve, or a terrifying thunderstorm rolls in, or an aggressive stray dog approaches you on a walk, how do you react? If your dog gets scared and you get anxious because they are scared, if you start speaking in a high-pitched, frantic voice, saying, "Oh no, it's okay, buddy. Oh my gosh, don't be scared, it's okay," you are confirming to your dog that there is indeed something terrible to be terrified of. You have lost your status as the safe harbor. You are drowning with them. The favorite person is often the one who remains an immovable rock of calm during times of intense stress. When the thunder booms, this person doesn't panic. They don't coddle. They simply sit there, radiating quiet strength, maybe offering a firm, reassuring hand on the dog's back, but otherwise carrying on normally. The dog's brain calculates, this giant booming sound is terrifying, but my human is not scared. My human is breathing normally. Therefore, if I stay right next to my human, I will survive. Being a provider keeps a dog alive. But being a protector, a safe harbor of emotional regulation, wins a dog's soul. The person they seek out when they are at their most vulnerable is their true master. Secret number 1, mastering microcommunication. We have finally arrived. We've covered food, energy, childhood imprinting, touch, and protection. But there is one factor that overrules them all. It is the absolute highest tier of human-canine connection. It is the invisible metric that decides, without fail, who a dog will dedicate their life to. It is the secret of microcommunication. Let me explain. Dogs are trapped in a world where almost no one speaks their language. Imagine being dropped into a foreign country where you don't know the language, you have no money, and you are entirely dependent on giant beings who constantly misread your body language. It would be incredibly isolating. Dogs do not communicate primarily through barking or whining. Barking is a last resort. It means they are already over the threshold. True canine communication happens in whispers. It happens in micro-movements. Animal behaviorists call these calming signals. When a dog is slightly uncomfortable with a child hugging them, they don't immediately growl. First, they do a tiny, quick flick of their tongue over their nose. Next, they might yawn, not because they are tired, but because yawning releases stress. Then they will turn their head slightly away, avoiding eye contact. Finally, you might see whale eye, where they turn their head but keep their eye fixed on the threat, showing the white of their eye. 99% of humans completely ignore these whispers. They keep forcing the interaction. They keep hugging, they keep pushing. They force the dog to either shut down in learned helplessness, or escalate to a growl or a bite just to make the human stop and listen. But then, there is the 1%. There is the human who notices the lip lick, the human who sees the subtle weight shift backward. And when that human sees it, they stop. They back away. They give the dog space. When you do this, something miraculous happens inside the dog's mind. The dog looks at you and realizes, wait, you heard me, you speak my language. The favorite person is the person who gives the dog autonomy. They are the person who doesn't force love, but invites it. They are the person who reads the invisible silent language of the dog and responds with respect. When a dog realizes that you understand their micro-communications, you become the safest place on planet Earth. They don't have to yell around you. They don't have to be on guard. They can completely, totally exhale. This is why they often choose the quiet partner over the loud, affectionate one. The loud one ignores the whispers. The quiet one listens. If you want to be your dog's ultimate, undeniable favorite person, stop trying to force them to love you in a human way. Learn to speak dog. Learn their calming signals. Respect their boundaries. When you prove to them that you are listening, they will give you a level of devotion that will literally take your breath away. So, now you know exactly how your dog is secretly judging every person in the room. But if you thought learning their invisible language was crazy, wait until you find out the bizarre psychological reason why your dog locks eyes and stares directly at your soul while they go potty. It is not just them being weird, it goes back to their primal wolf instincts, and what they expect you to do next is mind-blowing. Click the video on the screen right now to find out exactly why they do it. Trust me, you'll never look at potty time the same way again. Click the video, and I'll see you over there.